Redditors that worked with a dating company, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, etc. What's the most insane user stat or behind the scenes fact you found out about? I have a friend who works for, I want to say Tinder. Anyway, the company isn't important. What is important is that her entire job is to remove inappropriate images. Her job is to look at dick pics all day. 5 days a week. That's all. No stat. Just a weird effing job. Yeah, I've done that job. You get used to it pretty quickly. So many dicks and buttholes. Every shape, size and color imaginable. I used to monitor chat logs too. That's where the real effed up crap is. Yeah, I feel like I desensitized to dicks pretty quickly, but I'm sure chat is foul. My ex-boyfriend worked for the Yahoo Italy dating site back in the early 2000s. His job was to pretend to be a woman, and message male customers just as their accounts were going to expire. This would encourage them to pay to renew their subscriptions. Once they renewed, he would ghost them. He only lasted for a few months due to how unethical it was. That's legitimately one of the saddest things I've read on this thread. It just makes me happy that I use Google, a completely ethical company with no history of flimsy morals. Thank you. The sarcasm dial on my irony meter just broke again. Yahoo. No. You don't say? F that company. All I ever remember of them was their crafty search engine and how badly spammed their mailing lists were. Guys swipe right on 47% of profiles. Women only swipe right on 12%. I knew some guys would swipe right more than women, wasn't prepared for how little women swipe right. Edit, here's some more. Searching for serious or casual relationships for men versus women, 61% of men want something serious while 38% want something casual. 87% of women want something serious while only 13% want something casual. It's worth noting on that last one that it's partially because of a difference in how men and women would describe themselves if they're not sure. Women would rather say something serious if they're not sure to see how something goes, but happy for it to turn casual if they're not feeling it. While men would prefer to say something casual and then happy for it to turn serious if they like them. This is why we've given in and added a not sure option in our big update next week. Feedback on chat/users. We're unique in that we only let you chat to 3 users at a time, so you have to end a chat to talk to someone new. When you end a chat, you have to give private feedback. Here's some of the feedback people choose. You can pick more than one, 34%, ghosted/didn't say anything 12%, great chat 11%, polite and respectful 11%, not enough in common 8%, no chemistry 8%, hard to talk to 2%, rude/inappropriate. Why people ghost. We call ourselves the anti-ghosting app because we notify you if someone replaces your chat with someone new, since you can only talk to 3 at a time. Doesn't stop rejection, but at least you're not left wondering and waiting. We did some research with users to find out why people ghost on dating apps. They could choose more than one answer. 43%, avoid the awkwardness of saying I wasn't interested. 37%, they said/did something I didn't like. 36%, was too busy and then it was too late. 32%, couldn't be bothered to keep replying. 28%, I forgot to reply. 25%, couldn't think of a reply. 23%, too many other people to respond to. 22%, I've never ghosted anyone. 6%, other. Source, I'm the founder of a dating app. Edit 2, thanks for all the awards, support and kind words, seriously means a lot. Have tried to answer as many questions as I can and might even do a proper AMA when we launch our big update next week if there's interest. I found this out when I mentioned that I already hit my limit on right swipes by 11 a.m. The female friends I was with at the time looked confused, so I asked what was up. They had no idea there was a limit on right swipes, and they used it about as much as me. I used to work at Bumble, although this was about 4 to 5 years ago. Globally, about 90% of the users are men, so there is a huge male to female disparity, although it's not that bad on a per country basis, for some countries. The most depressing stat though was the histogram of word count in messages. Something like 91% of opening messages were just one word hey, and 85% of conversations were just one exchange long, hey dash, No reply ever. Looking at human, digital mating habits splayed out in data science form was really depressing. Update: Yikes, this thread really exploded. Some people have asked me a lot of the same questions, so I'm providing answers here. 1. When I worked there, we were not allowed to read the content of chats, only gather metadata about them, word count, number of exchanges, but we could not build models which analyzed the content of chats. This chat was about food, this one was about holidays, this one was sexual. This was due to stringent GDPR draft rules/TOS/privacy rules at the time, and Bumble took user privacy very seriously, so chats were never read or analyzed for content, not even by automated models. However, this was 4 to 5 years ago, and they may have amended their TOS since then to allow it, or they might be analyzing content for non-GDPR countries, USA. Therefore, as others have pointed out, we don't know for sure that the word used most often was actually hey, it could have been hello or howdy. In the office, we always assumed it was hey due to our own experiences on the app. But we did know with certainty that 91% of first messages used only a single word, so we guessed it was hey. 2. The countries which had better male-female ratios, which I can remember, were the Nordic ones. Sweden and Norway were close to 50-50, and for a time, one of them even had more women on the app than men. Not sure how it is now. 3. The GDPR rules were released in 2016, even earlier draft rules for some industries such as banking/finance and telecoms, but were not actually enforced until 2018. This grace period of 2 years was so that firms could implement all of the massive legal and technical protocols for GDPR, and many compliance/tech departments in London did nothing but a mad dash sprint for 2 to 3 years straight to get GDPR compliant before the 2018 deadline. As such, Bumble was already GDPR compliant, at least in terms of user chats. Don't know about other aspects. Well before 2018, as I said, they took user privacy seriously, even before GDPR. We weren't allowed to read chat messages due to a combination of user privacy TOS, specific to Bumble, and GDPR draft rules. I just wrote GDPR as a catch-all term for all of the various privacy rules in effect then, including TOS, but yes, I agree, the rules were not enforced yet. I apologize that I wasn't specific. I wrote my reply quickly this morning not thinking it would explode like this, and so just blurted out GDPR without getting pedantic about which rules in which years. Apologies for any confusion. 4. All these numbers are pulled from my memory of what I saw 4 to 5 years ago, and thus are not canon law or academic paper worthy. Update 2. Thank you most kindly for all of the awards, kind strangers. I very much appreciate it. If 90% of users on dating apps are men, where are single women looking for someone? In your area. Most dating sites and apps are owned by one company, the Match Group. They have a near monopoly. I think Bumble is one of the few not owned by them. Those iftards bought OkCupid and turned it from something awesome into a steaming pile of crap that sucks even more than Tinder. For those that don't know how it was 7 to 8 years ago, usernames could be your first name or something else like a nickname, various free text fields to describe you, also searchable structured metadata, age, smoking, drugs, looking for, offspring, that could be filtered by. Match questions that were actually fun to answer and check how others answered on stuff interesting/important to you, quizzes from personality type over nerdiness to kinkiness, and much more, and you could see the results in someone's profile. No swiping, you just messaged people, actual messages or chat, and you could switch from one to the other if you were online at the same time. If you wanted to, premium accounts were very affordable and only had some small gimmicks but nothing seriously important. Search by more superficial details like body type, not showing up in someone's visitor list unless you wanted to reveal yourself, etc. So basically it was an awesome site regardless if you were looking for friends, dates, Fs, or were just curious to find out more about strangers. And now, real names only, swiping, no search, crafty UI, clearly not interested in desktop users, much more expensive premium accounts. That's a shame. I loved OKC and brought it up a year or so ago to a younger friend who's on Tinder and he gave me the whatever old man attitude. But OKC was actually kind of fun to answer all the questions and comb through your matches' answers. One time I went out with a 99% match that had 300 plus questions answered identical to mine, and the only one that was different was she wanted to F in a booth with people watching. Made me question if I really did and hadn't realized it yet. And then the creators had a blog that they shared tons of interesting statistical info. I even bought their book on it. One time I went out with a 99% match that had 300 plus questions answered identical to mine, and the only one that was different was she wanted to F in a booth with people watching. Did the questionnaire ease you into those kind of questions? Like it started with 1, what's your favorite color? But by 299, you were being asked about niche sexual practices? Yes, but it wasn't so much a questionnaire as it was an infinite amount of questions, mostly user-generated, and you chose what to answer, how important the response was to you and how important their response was to you. So if you were really into needlepoint but didn't care if they were, you could put that in. It was a good system. Fun to answer, and the more you did, the more specific your matches were. But as others said, it's kind of scary to hand off that info and wouldn't fly today. It was a bit random what questions you got at first, but you could also look at the questions other people had answered and answer those as well. It wouldn't show you their answer until you had answered, and you couldn't change it for 24 hours. Edit, not random, based on what was most divisive. See below. It was not random, it started with questions that were most divisive by response percentage to start filtering people apart who had major disagreements. That's why one of the first ones was like, what's more important, love or sex? People always disagreed. Pre-Tinderization. OkCupid is one of probably only 2 dating apps I ever enjoyed in any manner. Don't get me wrong, I think I had like 2 to 3 dates ever off that app, but it was at least like playing Rocket League or being a Leafs fan. Even in the face of failure, it was enjoyable. Effing bastards. The pre-Tinderization OkCupid blog was fascinating too. They posted really cool stuff about the trends they noticed among their users. Exactly the kind of stuff that would have answered this post. You could tell that the original owners were more into the tech and data side of their site. Damn, it seems like there's nothing independently owned anymore. Everything is owned by some big company I never knew existed. Funny you should say that. Bumble is owned by a woman who is also a co-founder of Tinder. The rest of that founding team owns the Match Group. To be fair, she, Whitney Wolf, heard and later sued them for sexual harassment. This comment seems to imply that she's somehow in cahoots with Tinder/Match. Web link. The co-founder, female, and the CEO of Tinder used to date, and apparently they had a bad breakup. Edit, her role was more important than just being the female in the relationship. She co-founded the company. They ended in bad terms, and she went and did something about it and created what I believe is a superior app. Sounds like both of their apps needed a better algorithm. Ironic, they could save others from bad relationships, but not themselves. Is it possible to learn this power? Oh, I was going to say it sounds like a crafty rom-com. This was years ago now, but I used to work with a guy who had been an engineer for Match.com. He said 99% of the profiles were inactive, and that 80% of the active profiles were men. He didn't provide numbers, but also said there was a huge disparity between the average number of messages sent to women versus those sent to men. According to him, all told, the site was mostly men reaching out to dead profiles and never getting responses. As I said, however, this was years ago, so it's entirely possible that they've cleaned the site up since then. Not sure about Match, but I know Tinder automatically removes you from the lineup, so to speak, if you've been inactive for more than 7 days. It seems they removed me from their lineup after 7 hours of being active. Okay, sorry for laughing, but did you just stop getting matches? I don't need to be inactive to not get matches. Right pointing finger, cool face, right pointing finger. The only time I ever got matches on Tinder is when I went to Newfoundland for work. It seriously caught me off guard, swiping 30 times only to get 25 matches, with 5 of those messaging me wanting to hook up. I was in my hotel bed stuffing myself with pizza. Wasn't prepared to have to actually go out laughing out loud. How many Redditors are about to start planning trips to Newfoundland, I wonder? Post-pandemic trips, of course. I highly recommend. I'll be back again when COVID F's off, and this time I'll be ready. So pro tip, everyone, If your so has a profile on Tinder, it's not an old one from before you started dating. Edit, spelling. Is this policy new? I had a friend tell my, now, wife she saw my Tinder profile and it was years into us dating and having the app removed. I had to download it and erase everything and delete the account to be sure that didn't happen again. I don't think they remove your profile, at least not at first. I'm pretty sure they just send you way to the back of the line. So if someone got through all of the users in the area, they'd come across it. It's hard to find a straight answer though, because I'm guessing they like to keep the details vague to prevent people from figuring out how to game the system. Well, if you're a lesbian in my area, you can go through the whole line in a couple of days. More like a couple of hours in the suburbs laughing out loud. Millions of dicks futilely thrusting into empty space. I'm a pretty average-looking woman in my 40s and would average 40 to 50 new messages a day on OkCupid. My profile wasn't flirty or indicating hookups only. I met my wonderful partner on there and says in 3 years, he probably has around 2 first messages the entire time. One was me, and the other was someone asking for money. My partner is a jolly good-looking man with a clever, funny and intelligent profile and should have had hundreds of messages. Girls are missing out by not reaching out first. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Readers' new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.